fighters, rebel spacecraft attacking. Destroy them before they can bring down any of our shuttles.
Hey guys, Brian Swan here with a review of Star Wars Battlefront's Fighter Squadron. This is a very fun, very exciting mode that's of course been out since the game's release. We had a new map with the old new Jakku DLC, but overall I'm giving you guys my impression and overall review of this mode, because I wanted to make this separate so I can call back to other games like Rogue Squadron or even Battlefront 2 or the original Battlefront. Now, if you guys are looking for a truly serious, in terms of aerial combat, this is not it. Unfortunately, you're not going to find anything close to what Ace Combat delivers. You're not going to find even on terms of what Rogue Squadron delivered, and that's a game that's 20 years old. So what you'll have on your screen is, on the lower left-hand side, is a HUD. And the problem with that HUD is it doesn't really differentiate between, it differentiates between aerial vehicles and land vehicles, but you're not getting truly any different sense of you're in a different mode. It feels the same. It feels the same way, and the controls are just very odd, especially when you have to get used to the fact that it's so light and there's no real heaviness to the vehicle. There's nothing that really makes these vehicles feel very different. These Star Wars vehicles just do not differentiate. The TIE Fighters, the TIE Interceptors, that's great, but the A-Wings and the X-Wings and the Snowspeeders, the Snowspeeder has a, I believe, boost mode or speeder mode where it can move at a fast speed, but the A-Wing is known for speed, and I think that they couldn't really implement that in the sort of battle sections that they have for these aerial aerial combat. But I would have loved to see more characteristics carry over from the actual Star Wars universe into Fighter Squadron. It's much better than the original Battlefront. The original Battlefront didn't have any targeting at all. So this is where it's much better than the 2004 Battlefront. And this whole argument of space battles, Fighter Squadron doesn't need space battles, because it would feel the same way if not you had space battles in them. You'd have the same sort of atmosphere. There'd be no difference in terms of how the aerial combat felt. It would be the same way. So the argument that it would be better if there were space battles doesn't really matter at all. The maps, they are beautiful, they are aesthetically pleasing, they are the best looking of any Star Wars game so far. Just like the entire game is the best looking Star Wars game so far. The most disappointing map is the Jakku map, which was added, of course, in the DLC. Apparently, Jakku is a huge aerial and land combat war in this Jakku area, and the game really doesn't set you up in that method. It doesn't feel like you're really into a battle. It just feels like another average place, like, oh, Hoth or this or that. This is supposed to be the granddaddy of everything, and it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like you're in the middle of a desert that's gotten a couple of ATSTs crashed on the ground and an Imperial Star Destroyer in the middle of the sand. It looks beautiful, but once again, you can't go into those zones that you want to go into. The first time I played in that map, I tried to fly around the Imperial Star Destroyer that crashed into the sand, and you just aren't able to do it. So overall, Star Wars Battlefront's Fighter Squadron mode is nothing to be excited about. It's just there. It's a beautiful game. It's one of the best looking games. It's the best looking Star Wars game of all time. But if you're looking for something that's on par with Ace Combat, but with Star Wars vehicles, you're not going to find it here. If you're looking for something that's just fun, you have it here. You have targeting, so it offers a good amount of fun. Does it deliver in terms of beating out Rogue Squadron? Does it deliver in terms of the original Battlefront? It's definitely better than the original Battlefront in terms of combat. There definitely aren't as many vehicles than the original Battlefront, but it doesn't really matter because the original Battlefront just didn't have the aerial combat that we really needed to utilize those vehicles. So it's a fun game. It's a very beautiful world. But don't get your hopes up. Just like the rest of the game, it's just a fun, casual thing. It's nothing really serious in any of the categories that it's jumping into. It's just a light, casual game. So guys, that's my review of Fighter Squadron on Star Wars Battlefront. on PlayStation 4.
Imperial shuttle is escaping. You're cleared to fire.